Evening. Good evening, everyone. I'm Spot on Weather meteorologist Matthew Euler. Welcome to my daily forecast from the 30th of September 2025. So, issuing this evening on the 30th of September. So, let's get right into the discussion. First, let's take a look at the weather across the eastern U.S. at the present time. We have two tropical systems. We have Imelda down to the southeast of the Carolinas, well offshore. And then we have Umberto further to the northeast from Imelda. So the two tropical systems on the visible satellite imagery this afternoon. We have a lot of onshore winds that are occurring into the mid-Atlantic, specifically into southeast Virginia, as well as portions of northeast North Carolina. We do have high pressure up to the north. You really don't see that here on the satellite image, but there's some clear skies up to the north there across New York State. So we have high pressure to the north with clockwise flow around it, and then we have the uh, general onshore component of the wind around these two tropical systems. So a lot of cloud cover stretching from northern Florida, Georgia through the Carolinas and Virginia today. Over here on the right, I'm showing observations taken earlier this afternoon. And this was a point in time where we were starting to see that, a little bit of drop off in the low level moisture, specifically the dew points. We have dew points at 62 degrees earlier this afternoon in Richmond and 63 degrees down at Norfolk International Airport. And so we have so much drier air up here in Pennsylvania and Maryland. For example, Pennsylvania, eastern Pennsylvania, the dew points were in around 50 degrees this afternoon. Parts of Maryland and northern Virginia, we have dew points about 58, 59 degrees. So we do see some drier air starting to work its way down into southeastern Virginia and a good portion of the mid-Atlantic. My main weather headlines for this evening's daily forecast video. We are seeing cooler air now filtering into Hampton Roads and the mid-Atlantic as a whole. To kick off the month of October tomorrow, we will see comfortable dew points. Breezy conditions continue tomorrow with those northeast winds. A beautiful looking weekend is ahead, by the way, for all your fall festival planning and all outdoor activity planning. It's looking absolutely gorgeous for the upcoming weekend. We will see a return to milder temperatures early next week ahead of an approaching cold front. And we also may see some showers next Wednesday, the 8th of October. And then behind that frontal system for midweek next week, we'll see the return to drier, cooler, more pleasant air for late next week. Let's take a look at the forecast now over the coming, we're going to go through 1 to 6 October 2025, showing the 500 millibar height anomalies on the left. And on this graphic, the greens and the blues and even these purple colors indicate an upper level trough. Associated with upper level troughs, we have cooler and unsettled weather. For the maroon colors and the brown and white colors, we have upper level ridges on this chart here on the left. Beneath these upper level ridges, we see dry conditions and milder than normal temperatures typically. So what are we looking at tomorrow on 1 October? We see a closed upper low and a trough pivoting into the Pacific Northwest. Downstream from that, we see a very strong upper level ridge, generally from Lake Huron, the Great Lakes area, working northwest towards Hudson Bay in Canada. Anomalous warmth beneath the ridge here into parts of eastern Canada. And then downstream and just offshore of the U.S. East Coast, we do see some troughing that is definitely going to basically pick up these tropical cyclones and push them out to sea, kind of like take them with it. So overall, on the right, we have our surface chart and what we're looking at for tomorrow. The green colors indicate precipitation. When you don't see any green colors on the charts on the right here, it's dry conditions. So we see our two tropical systems tomorrow afternoon pushing away from the east coast and heading out over the North Atlantic. We still see these black solid lines, these isobars tightly packed, indicating a lot of strong northeasterly winds there across the waters off of Virginia and North Carolina tomorrow. Overall, though, across Virginia and the Mid-Atlantic, Ohio Valley looking dry. We do see some showers moving into the Pacific Northwest out ahead of that approaching upper level trough. For the 2nd of October, this will be Thursday. We see the ridge still really in play across southeastern Canada with drier conditions. The ridge does migrate a little bit further to the east across New York State, up towards eastern Canada. There is a trough, a shortwave trough, located across the North Atlantic Ocean, just offshore of the Canadian Maritimes, and that trough goes all the way up towards Greenland. We see this trough axis, the trough itself, starting to push ashore there across the Pacific Northwest into parts of Washington and Oregon. Overall, we see ridging across parts of the southern plains as well for the 2nd of October here coming up on Thursday. And over here on the right, very dry across much of the country, specifically here in Virginia. We really don't see much in the way of any type of precipitation. There's a 1031 millibar high pressure system situated over New York State, and that is ridging south westward into the mid-Atlantic states. We do see some shower activity further to the south, a little bit wet across Florida for the 2nd of October. Looking at the temperature anomalies now for the 1st of October tomorrow, and you clearly see this maroonish orange color indicating well above normal temperature readings across the northern plains, the Dakotas and Minnesota and Iowa. We're talking temperatures ranging 15 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit above normal. So some anomalous warmth across the northern plains in Iowa and Minnesota. We do see some cooler air there across Northern California, and we do see some cooler air down the mid-Atlantic coast, Virginia and North Carolina, up through Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, and parts of New England. We're running 3 to 5 degrees Fahrenheit below normal in these areas along the eastern seaboard. Over on the right, we show the temperature anomalies in degrees Fahrenheit for Thursday, the 2nd of October. The coolest temperatures here, cooler than normal weather is currently across Oregon down to parts of Northern California in association with that trough moving in. And then we still see the same area, 15 to 20 degrees above normal across the northern plains, upper Midwest, really parts of the Dakotas and Minnesota could be ranging anywhere from 20 to 22 degrees Fahrenheit above normal for this Thursday, the 2nd of October. Meanwhile, the eastern seaboard from Maine all the way down to Georgia is cooler than normal. In fact, some of these readings across the Carolinas and Virginia are running 4 to 5 degrees Fahrenheit below normal. Looking at the forecast now for the 3rd of October on the left, we see this upper level ridge is starting to flatten out somewhat. It stretches basically across Minnesota, Wisconsin, the Great Lakes area into southeastern Canada. There is a trough and a trough axis, upper trough and trough axis across North Atlantic. We see the closed low associated with the troughing there dropping down into Northern California by this Friday. We do see some upper level ridging starting to build a bit across parts of the northeastern Pacific up towards the Aleutian Islands. Over on the right, we see nothing but high pressure in control of the weather across Hampton Roads and across a lot of the mid-Atlantic for this Friday, the 3rd of October. We got a 1028 millibar surface high pressure just to the east of New Jersey. We still see some easterly winds generally along the coastal sections of Georgia, as well as Florida. So the showers and unsettled weather continues across Florida for this Friday. We do see some scattered showers as well out towards Nevada, Idaho, up towards Montana, out ahead of that trough axis. The forecast for this Saturday, the 4th of October, 2025, we see the ridge across in the Gulf of Alaska, and it's really building it. These colors are getting darker, indicating even higher than normal heights, even more and a stronger signal for higher than normal heights. We see an upper level trough that's digging across the Four Corners region, associated with cooler and more unsettled conditions. And then we see an upper level ridge. There's an upper level ridge from the Great Lakes into the southeastern Canada, extending northeastward towards New England. And the trough is somewhat filling a little bit here. We have a weakening trough generally across the North Atlantic. We do see some higher heights starting to build towards Greenland at this point on Saturday. There also is an upper level trough that is positioned, basically the trough axis from the northwestern portions of Canada southward. And then over here on the right, we see the precipitation forecast really and the surface pressure features for this Saturday afternoon. 1024 millibar high pressure still in control just off the Virginia coastline. Still unsettled across Florida with easterly winds. We see some unsettled weather also across the northern Gulf. And then we see some scattered showers. There's some scattered showers there across parts of Wyoming, up towards southeastern Montana, and into parts of Utah and Colorado. Here are the temperature anomalies forecast on the left for the 3rd of October, this Friday. You clearly can see where the warmest temperatures are residing from the Midwest northward to Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, the Dakotas. This is the big area of 20 degree plus Fahrenheit above normal temperatures. So it's going to be a very mild day here across parts of the Midwest and Northern Plains for Friday, while the cooler than normal temperature readings are out over Nevada, California, and Oregon, as well as parts of southern Jersey down through DC, Virginia, and the Carolinas, as well as parts of Florida with a lot of clouds and precipitation occurring for Friday. Over here on the right, temperature anomalies for Saturday, the 4th of October. Again, well above normal across the northern plains, upper Midwest. We're talking 20 to 27 degrees Fahrenheit above normal in this region from Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Detroit. You're running about 22 degrees Fahrenheit above normal for this Saturday, so it's going to be very mild. St. Louis, 13 degrees above normal. Peoria, 20 degrees above normal. And then that heat kind of expands a little bit further. The warmth expands a little further to the east across parts of New England, parts of Maine, 13 degrees Fahrenheit above normal, and parts of New Hampshire and Vermont as well. We see cooler than normal readings situated for this Saturday across the western U.S. Here is the forecast for the 5th of October, 2025. So this would be Sunday. We see an upper level ridge expanding over the eastern seaboard, working northwestward towards southeastern Canada. There is an upper level trough that's digging in between the ridge to the east, and then there's a very strong upper level ridge poking its way up into the Northwest Territories and up towards Alaska by Sunday, the 5th of October, with a downstream trough across the western U.S. where the temperatures are running a little bit cooler than normal at this point in time. Over on the right is your forecast for this Sunday, 5 October. Notice we have some precipitation extending from southeastern Canada, working its way through Minneapolis, as well as parts of southeastern South Dakota and Nebraska. This is basically along a cold front. There's a 1027 millibar surface high pressure off the eastern seaboard, and we do have some more scattered shower activity and unsettled weather there across the southwestern Atlantic up towards the South Carolina, Georgia area. Here is the forecast for the 6th of October, 2025 for next Monday. We do see a lot of upper level ridging. We see upper level ridging now working its way up into the Aleutian Islands, up towards the Bering Sea. There is a weak trough there situated from Kodiak, Alaska, working its way southwestward. And then there's another upper level ridge expanding northward up along the British Columbia coastline into western Canada. An upper level trough digging across central Canada. So all the anomalous upper level heights, which were associated with ridging over Hudson Bay, has now been replaced by this green color by next Monday, troughing. And then we see more upper level ridging up along the eastern seaboard by next Monday. Over on the right, we see where all the precip is generally concentrated across the southern U.S. and parts of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, and then also in the Carolinas. We see some shower activity. Again, a very unsettled signal for the southwestern Atlantic by next Monday, the 6th of October. There is a 1029 millibar surface high over eastern South Dakota. And then there's a 1027 millibar surface high generally to the east of the New Jersey area. Here are the temperature anomalies on the left for the 5th of October, this Sunday. You clearly can see a definitive boundary here. Temperatures running well above normal in Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Missouri, as well as Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York State, and then New England itself. We got a big surge of warmth out ahead of an approaching cold front, and you can clearly see the greens and the blues behind the cold frontal passage. So temperatures have dropped off to double digits below normal across Nebraska and Wyoming and northeastern Colorado by Sunday. Over on the right is the temperature anomalies forecast for Monday afternoon, the 6th of October. And notice we've got below normal readings across Kansas, Nebraska, parts of South Dakota. And now we're starting to see a lot of this warmth, this anomalous warmth, start to head a little bit, get shoved a little further to the southeast. So parts of Minnesota and the Dakotas now are not running double digits above normal. Instead, they're running at or even slightly below normal. We see the warmth concentrated across parts of New England as well as the Ohio Valley. Temperatures across Virginia and the Carolinas by next Monday running 4 to 7 degrees Fahrenheit above normal. Here is the local Hampton Roads, Virginia forecast. Starting with tomorrow, Wednesday, the 1st of October, 2025, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies. The skies will become partly cloudy by late in the day. We are going to see a lot of breezy conditions for Hampton Roads cities, a high of only 72 degrees though. And this is what I was talking about. The cooler air is going to filter in from the north, low of 58 by Thursday morning. So a chilly fall morning. And then Thursday, partly sunny, but only a high of about 69 degrees, dropping off to 57 on Friday morning, 72 for a high with partly sunny skies on Friday, dropping to 59. And then this was a gorgeous weekend I was previewing. At the present time, it looks like mostly sunny skies, cool mornings followed by warm afternoons, so pleasant conditions for any outdoor activities you have across Hampton Roads for the upcoming weekend. And then early next week, we're looking at partly sunny skies. And the temperatures do gradually warm up to the upper 70s by this point in time. For more information, or if you want to follow me, go to Spot on Weather Weebly. If you do a Google search, Spot on Weather Weebly, just search that, and you'll see my link come up. This is the link itself. I have blogs on there. I have weather photos, a lot of sky and cloud photos specifically. I have much, much more. So feel free to check out my website here. I update it regularly with the 7-day outlook. So this I update daily on the website. So even if you don't see my posts in social media, you can come to my website. And I also have it listed up here at the top of the forecast, spot-on-weather.com. And then I also post daily forecasts a lot of the times for Hampton Roads on X or Twitter. And this is my handle here, Euler Matthew 4. So look me up here. I'm constantly doing updates to the website. I have a lot of great fun stuff. If you really like the weather, check out my website. You won't be disappointed. So that is all I got. Oh, and one more thing with the website before I go. I do have a cloud forecasting chart as well. If you want to look to see what kind of clouds in the Hampton Roads area, what we get, go ahead and check that out. I'm sure you'll enjoy that. I've taken all the photos myself, but yeah, definitely check out my website. All right, that's all I got for now, everybody. I wish everybody a wonderful, pleasant evening, and let's enjoy this fall weather the next couple days. Take care and God bless everyone.